Now joining us on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline is a man who gives us answers every week. Let's see what he has this week. His name's Trevor Matich. He works for ESPN, the former BYU offensive lineman and NFL offensive lineman. Trevor, what is up, my brother?
Hi, how's it going? I am befuddled and confused and frustrated, but happy nonetheless.
Yeah, BYU with a 6-game losing streak at this point. We'll talk about that more in a sec. But was there anything that surprised you against Mississippi State in BYU's 25-point loss?
Nope, not really. You figured that this would be about like it was. I figured that the BYU offense wouldn't really go anywhere. I figured there'd be adjustments by Ty Detmer, and he did. He moved pieces around the chessboard. Problem is he has too many pawns and no queens and no rooks. So, it's just not working out. But he's trying. You can see some of those things happening. You knew that the running attack of Mississippi State would eventually wear down BYU's defense and frustrate them. And I don't mind as a human being that BYU's defense kind of got frustrated in this game, and it looked like they realized they didn't have a chance. They were just the whole thing just didn't work out well. The thing I like best is that the kicker forced a fumble. That's good. So you have a physical bell cow now.
Nice reference given Mississippi State.
What's that?
Nice reference. Bell cow, Mississippi State Cowboys.
Yeah, cowbell. See
I
that?
like it. Yeah.
See, we do things like that on this show. but really, this game was kind of the final one in this horrible stretch of opening games, and it's been a perfect storm, and now it's over. So we start season number 2.
BYU has not lost 6 in a row since back in 1968. Obviously, it's been a very long time. And realizing that there are a lot of things that have gone into this, I ask you, what do you believe is the biggest reason why the Cougars are in this situation right now?
The offense. The offense has been horrible. They haven't been able to get a running game going at all. Their downfield passing game is non-existent, and anything approaching a rhythmic passing game, even short or medium depth, is not there. This offense has shifted a little bit from last year, where they were still working on more of a running quarterback with Taysom and pounding the ball with Jamal Williams, the greatest running back that's ever been at BYU. It's kind of really simple to run a college system there with the run-pass options and the zone reads and all the various things that you generally do when you have that kind of personnel. Now they're trying to get into a different phase of it, and they're not able to get it executed. And that's the biggest reason that everything is faltering. I mean, they can't move the ball. They are turning it over way too much. They're putting their defense in terrible situations, forcing them to defend way too many plays, and the dominoes that fall because of all that are predictable.
ESPN's Trevor Matich is on BYU Sports Nation. Fans are trying to figure out where on the wheel of blame to point a finger the most. I don't think that really matters, but I do think about the reasons why BYU's 1-6. What are some of the main reasons, in your opinion, that BYU is 1-6 outside of the offense? I mean, specifically like youth, injuries, schedule, play calling, so on.
Yeah, well, schedule is one we looked at. The BYU would have to be playing at a very high level in order to be competitive in the first half of the season, and so we knew that. And in order to be competitive, keep this in mind, this is Ty Detmer's second year there, but it really feels like it's his first because of the nature now of the personnel shift and moving more towards the pro-style offense that he wants to get on the field. And that takes time to develop. You don't just say, okay, we're going to go with a pro-style offense. We're going to go out there and execute it at a high level. It's going to be like, the 1983 San Francisco 49ers with Joe Montana. No, it takes time. Now, once you get it going, it rolls. But I expected it to go a lot faster. This year I thought they would see a semblance of the passing game working well because Detmer knows how to put people in position. And you see people in position. I mean, you see receivers that are open that the quarterbacks don't hit. You see receivers that should be open if they had to run better routes. And so they're not. Then you see the quarterback not trusting the receivers. And then you see all kinds of dominoes that fall. But really, when you point a finger of blame, I think at the offense, and you want to get very specific about it, I don't think you can blame the play calling. I don't think you can blame the scheme. They don't have the players right now to run the same scheme that they had last year anyway. So I think for people that say that they should have stayed with the whole zone read, quarterback run concept, they don't have the guys to do that. So they have to move into this new pro style. And the blame is on the fact that there's no indication when you watch this game on tape that there's any kind of predictable rhythm passing going on. It's all the quarterback drops back, he looks and sees somebody that appears to be open, and he throws the ball that way. And that is not an offense. That's playground.
Tanner Mangum was actually quite efficient in the game. I think the biggest surprise was that he didn't throw the ball more against Mississippi State. But with all that being said, do you think BYU should mix it up at quarterback?
I think the best guy for what they have now is Bo Hodge, and he's not available yet because of injury. The reason I think so is not necessarily that he's the better quarterback than Tanner Mangum is, but I think that because everything is not clicking right now with the rhythm passing game, Bo Hodge has more of a spark with his ability to run and create on the move. And I think that's what they need right now. So it's really a matter of fitting the quarterback with the situation around him than it is putting two quarterbacks out there and deciding who wins the battle. And so, I think we start there. I think Tanner Mangum is a guy that's very, very talented, and it's easy to point a finger at him. Certainly, I think he has not performed like I expected him to perform. But let's go back to reasons why all this is happening. Normally, you get some cupcakes in order to early in the season in order to get started with an offense, to get out of first gear, to be able to get a rhythm going, to string together some long drives, get some first downs, let the play calling get into a rhythm. Run the ball, play action, throw the ball deep down the field, bubble screen, first down, run the ball again, play action on second and 3. These are the kinds of things that a play caller really needs that Ty Detmer has not had available to him, and that's limited what he's been able to do in terms of calling plays. A lot of that has to do with the schedule, because the schedule that they've played has maximized every single little deficiency and turned it into a tsunami of deficiencies. And so I think, when you put all that together, it looks a whole lot worse than it really should look if the schedule as an independent this year didn't turn out to be so brutal early in the season. Now, I'm not saying that BYU is an innocent victim here. There's a lot of things they could have done better, and they've made a lot of unforced errors. But those unforced errors that are expected and predictable in really what amounts to the first year of this kind of an offense were made far, far worse because of the nature of that schedule. And that's when I say it's a perfect storm. It's just a perfect storm that conspired against BYU's offense this year, and they were, they had a little tiny umbrella to try to keep the rain out, and it didn't work.
ESPN's Trevor Matich is on BYU Sports Nation. BYU 1-6. Now they have 6 regular season games remaining. Should the Cougars win the next 6, and I can barely say that without smiling, because it's irrational to think that a team that loses 6 will just all of a sudden win 6. Should the Cougars win 6, they'll be bowl eligible. So now it becomes a matter of each week, can BYU keep that going? Do you think BYU can win the next 6 games?
They have the ability to win the next 6 games, yes. Now, I would like to see them score a touchdown against East Carolina. How about baby steps, right? Let's drive the ball, score a touchdown, and then rinse and repeat. But yes, they have the ability to do it, because we talk about the nature of that the first half of the season, and people always point to the Utah State game. They say, yeah, well, Utah State. Yeah, well, BYU was a turnover monster against Utah State. And keep in mind that before Bo Hodge got hurt, they were moving the ball. They looked like an offense that they hadn't looked like all season. And then, bang, the quarterback that's providing that spark goes out with injury, and everything reverts back to just abject horribleness. Well, that's over now. Now we start the second part of the season. And really, what I'm doing as I look at this is I'm wiping the slate clean. I'm saying, okay, that first part of the season was a bad dream. I've woken up. I'm all sweaty and scared and trembling and thinking it was real, and then I realize it's not real. It was just a dream. Now they're 0-0, and they've got the rest of the season in front of them. And that's how I'm judging them. So you ask, can they win those 6 games? Yes, they can. But first I want to see them drive the field in an efficient drive against East Carolina and score 1 touchdown. If they can do that, then I'll think they have a chance to go on and do some good things.
Trevor, I'll take that question one step further. Do you believe BYU will be bowl eligible this season?
I do. They've got to win 5 games coming up, and the teams that they face, for the most part, they're really struggling. I mean, East Carolina right now is 1-6. San Jose State is 1-7. Fresno State's actually looking better than I thought they would be. But Fresno State's the only team that they face now that currently has a winning record of 4-2. So they've got to win 5 games in order to get to bowl eligibility. 6 would be better, but I think they can do it. But really, as you look at that goal, I think right now what they need as a goal is much more short term. The fans are miserable. The players are miserable. The coaches, the whole dark cloud surrounding the program right now is just one of just abject misery. And I think winning 1 game will help to flip that. If they win a second game in a row, that'll help to flip that. And really, what I would like to see for these players, especially for the seniors, is just a better experience than they've had, because they're working hard. Nobody's quitting. They're working like crazy. I'd like to see them win out and make a bowl game. But right now, I just want to see them just have a little joy.
Absolutely. And there was no joy in Mudville for 4 top 10 teams losing over the weekend. So now who are your updated top 4 teams in college football, Trevor?
Well, my updated top 4 teams have shifted around a little bit, haven't they? Just because of the nature of 4 top 10 teams lose. I still got to have Alabama at number 1. Number 2 for me is really hard because it's between Georgia and Penn State. I think Penn State's offense is more balanced than Georgia, but Georgia's defense is a little better. So given what we're seeing right now, I would put Georgia at number 2, Penn State at number 3, and TCU at number 4. Now, Ohio State, I think, is probably from a power ranking standpoint, the best team, the 4th best team. They have been lights out the last 3 games. I mean, their offense has been phenomenal. Their defense has played very well. But I want to see them do it against a little bit better competition than they faced the last 3 games before I'll put them up there in the top 4.
Okay, good stuff. Trevor Matich, we appreciate the time. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks, you guys. And just it's forget the first part of the season. Just forget it. It was a dream. It was a bad dream. The Redskins the Cougars are 0-0, and that's the way to look at it.
I like the way you think, Trevor.
All right.